Good morning, and welcome to Presence of Light with Charlie Riverman. It is once again a joy and a pleasure to be here on Friday mornings and share with the world some of the wisdoms and meaningful experiences that I receive during the week in my personal journey of evolution as a human on Earth at this time. It is interesting today, not only because it's a new month, but because of the full moon, which has enhanced our energies, good morning, Jennifer, to a new level of awareness, and which has caused the waters within us to rise and at some point boil, actually become this boiling fever that is sometimes not pleasant to experience. And so this talk this morning is really about, it's really a sharing of light. And I want to just touch each of you with some possibilities as we begin to step more into who we truly are and what our true divine purpose here is. And it doesn't matter what your religious background is, what your ethnic background is. It doesn't matter whether you're male or female. It doesn't matter whether you're short or tall. None of the differences that we perceive in each other matter in sharing our light. And so it's interesting how in the past few days, the word betrayal has come into my viewpoint, and how many of us are feeling betrayed, not only by the greater collective consciousness of humanity, but by personal friends, by family, by collaborators. That's another word that came up this morning in a card reading. Collaborators, people we are collaborating with to manifest and co-create. So betrayal there has occurred. And what I've come to understand, it's a energy field right now in the evolution of the planet. Good morning, Sudhir. Om and blessings. Thank you. Namaste. All of these attributes of this full moon are really here to embrace us. And I use the word embrace because I look at it as a giant hug. It doesn't feel like a friendly, loving hug, but it's to embrace us in this field of energy so that we awaken. We awaken deeper within our own hearts. And that's how I'm being guided to look at this. And it has to do with heart resonance. And heart resonance is not what we send out as much as it is what we contain within and allow to expand. So there's an expansion of the heart. It's not a projection of the heart. It's the natural energy, the heart energy, the energy of compassion, of love, of a desire to serve, a desire to be witness of, a desire to be present here, fully embodied in our total energy package, which we don't understand, and we're learning with each moment. So it's interesting. We are co-creators, and we're here to co-create. And how do we do that if we're feeling betrayed by each other? And how do we do that if we are not trusting each other? So the message from me this morning was about the first thing was collaboration, and it came from a Kuan Yin card. Let's see if I can hold that somewhere. Sisters of the Sun Rising. And it is all about us stepping into this new field of working together and collaborating. And how do we do that if we're moving into this field and we have all this sense of betrayal? So, first of all, we have to look within ourselves. And as I was speaking in my invitation FaceTime message on my own page, the words were betrayal, reconciliation, compassion, and collaboration. So first we feel the betrayal, and it hits us, and it hits us hard. It hurts. And the betrayal outside of us is really a reflection of the betrayal within us. As without, so within. These are ancient teachings that we've dismissed over time because they became so, ordinary, and we just overlooked them. But they're being brought to our attention once again to remind us that just because we think we have changed doesn't necessarily mean that everything, the divine guiding principles of living on this planet have changed. There is still a matrix of energy that has always been intended to remain in the planetary system of life. We are the ones who have separated from that. It's easy to look at the separation outside of us. How do we deal with the separation within us? I'm sensing that is the deeper betrayal that we're experiencing. And it's coming up in the outer field for the perfect reason of being the mirror to look in and say, wow, where am I doing that within me? Where am I not really aligning with my sense of purpose? Or where am I not aligning with my sense of greater self, higher self, divine self, whatever adjectives you want to put in it, but the capital S self, which is the creation of God, the source, the creator. However you have come to embrace that in your life, and through your teachings and your wisdom keepers and your ancestors, they brought forth this for you and us to carry us through these times of, the word tribulation comes through. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. We're taking a deeper look and beginning to realize that many of the things we're doing just don't fit anymore. It isn't that they're not good, or we want to label them as bad things or whatever. It's just that there's no alignment anymore. There's no energetic design left for us to keep bringing them forward into this new consciousness, that we're experiencing. And the full moon, that full light, that sharing of her light is exactly that, because she's the subtle light in the sky. And last night I did a water blessing at Nebel Lighthouse, which is an old place that one of the first places I was guided to do blessings at 20-something years ago. And when I went there, the moon was hazed over by the clouds, and as we're getting what's called a nor'easter storm here in Maine and along the northeast coast of America, where the winds of the ocean whip around and they come back out of the northeast off of the Atlantic Ocean, and with it it brings tons of moisture and it lifts the waves into these amazing, beautiful beings. They're quite destructive, but when you get to the shore at a nor'easter, you really see the wrath, the power of nature in full form. And it's a moment of where you surrender. You have to surrender and say, wow. This is what the full moon, this full moon in particular, for whatever reason, is bringing to us. And as I took a picture of that full moon, and I looked at the picture later, it looked like the sun. And I'm amazed at the picture. It just fascinates me how usually the moon looks like the moon. This did not look like the moon. It looked like the sun. And I said, here is the power and here is the message of the light. That even in the storm, the coming storm, the ocean swelling, the waves crashing across the rocks, the message is, be still, my child. Know that you are fine. The storm is only here to wash away which does not need to be held sacred anymore. Those words just came through from my higher counsel. Thank you. And this is what we're here to do, is to take that betrayal, whether it be by others or ourselves, and not allow our energy to be stolen away or sucked away by it, just like the storm. Do not let everything be sucked away in it, but honor that as a message that in the midst of this, if I go within myself and honor the presence of my light, I will be fine. I will be more than fine. As I said in a message to someone this morning who was brought up the issue of betrayal, I said, in the end, we will be the pillars. We will be the standing stones in the desert, which remind those who are passing through the desert that they are master creators. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't it beautiful to think of yourself as a master creator? The term was master architect, and I was referring to the wasps as messengers, and that their sting, their bite is nasty. Yet they are master creators. If you look at what they build. And so we are those wasps rebuilding the structure which houses the heart and soul of humanity. This is our purpose. This is what we're here for. And it's amazing. We are co-creating the future. We are engineering, and we are planning, and we are planting seeds, perhaps, all of which are going to rebuild completely, not partially, completely, the future of humanity. And each one of us, no matter how small you may think you are and how helpless you may feel, are a part of this co-creation. And so now is a time of collaboration. How do we collaborate? And collaboration is a funny word, and collaboration is strange. Many of us have joined a lot of different groups and societies and things, thinking maybe this is where I fit in, maybe this is where I fit in. And we do fit in to some degree. But now we're sort of sitting back and saying, we're reflecting and saying, I'm better served here. This aligns more with the energy that I bring forth into this world from my light. And it doesn't mean anybody is wrong. It just means that we're refining and redefining what our energy's purpose is and aligning it with its highest potential for the good of the whole. It's awesome. It is awesome. You are awesome. I am awesome. And so over the past couple of weeks, I see that I've been hit by this energy, and my talks have even reflected that. And this new moon has re-energized me to say, no more. Weep no more, Charlie. Weep no more. Step off the ledge. Flap your wings and move into the new field of resonance, which your heart has been asking you to do for a long time now. Move into who you truly are, what you truly have to bring to the world. Even though people will stab you, they'll betray you, they'll make fun of you, it doesn't matter. This is the message of today. This is the message of the Sisters of the Sun Rising. It's the promise of knowing that we're part of a greater whole that has our back, I wrote in my blog this week a message for the first time, I've announced who they have appeared and wanted to be called by me, are my masters and teachers and guides that I've been working with for over 20 years. Interesting, probably 22 years now that I asked. And I asked what they would like to be called, because I usually speak of them as the Crystalline Collective, because it was crystals that, through crystals that, and the crystal skull Max that connected us. He was the connection. And there are an array of masters and teachers and angels and divas and forms and energies. And I have a conversation with a dear friend who he speaks about his guides and teachers and mine. And he has more perception, visible perception. He'll see mine, and I will share that energy with his. And for me, it doesn't matter. For me, all I need to know is that they're there, that they guide me, that the messages are coming through me, not because they're better than I am or greater than that I am, but I am one with them. This is the divine kingdom, which all religions speak about, yet some don't want us to look at it in that reflection. we need to open now. We need to open our consciousness and our awareness. And as they said, asked to be named the crystalline collective consciousness of 22. The master number 22. And as I said, it's probably been 22 years that I've been working with them in a full capacity. And not as full as it is now, but I've allowed myself to experience this guidance, this spiritual divine guidance. And so that's what the Sisters of the Sun Rising are saying. It's collaboration. We are to collaborate in that same manner with each other to bring forth the best that each one of us has to offer here. It doesn't mean that what we perceive as the darkness, what we have labeled as evil, what we find conflicts deeply with our inner peace, it doesn't mean it's going to disappear in an instant, except the instant within you. And when we can shorten what we call time, the time frame of allowing the betrayal, allowing the jealousy, allowing the hurt that others are casting upon us or bringing into our field of awareness, the shorter the time span, we do it this way, Charlie, so you can say, the shorter the span, the space that it has energy to suck energy away from you, the more empowered you will be. I will be. And in turn, we will be contributing less to that field. Because what happens energetically is when we go into that space, it's a sucking of our energy. All of us have felt it. We're depleted. And when we stay in that space for long periods of time, we become weak, we become sick, we form diseases. We become more susceptible to more of that negativity, and it depletes us. We are, as I said before, masters and master creators. And this is our betrayal. We have betrayed ourselves in allowing the greater collective consciousness of humanity to define for us what our individual strength and power is. And that individual strength and power always arises from love. Because we are love. We have never been, in truth, anything but love. And if we look around the world, there's a lot of empty space without love. And it's our responsibility to fill it with our love. And we'll be accused, we'll be taunted, much like Jesus was. I mean, Jesus was the perfect example of exactly what we're going through. What is the betrayal? Look at all his family. He gathered his disciples. Did they betray Jesus? This is the story. That happened. It happens with Buddha. It happens with Krishna. It happens with everyone. Every human symbol of God embodied. It has happened. There has been this great betrayal. And we now, as the collective, are feeling that betrayal. So you see, the personal is our own, and it's a symbol of what's happening in the greater. And the gift in this is we get to experience the power of our self, capital S self, the divine self, to overcome, to transfigure, transmute, transform, whatever trans you want to do, shift, change, make it nothingness. Give it no power, because it only has no power on its own. The only power we have is love. And it can't hold love, because there is no place for it to dwell in the darkness. Love dwells in the light and emanates from the light. When I became the peace, the light, and the love, there was nothing else. There were no bodies, there were no guides, there were nothing. There was no me. It was just pure peace, light, and love. And this is where we're headed, is to bring forth that and share with each other that part of ourselves that knows there is no such thing as death. Doesn't defy death, because death is not real. We are always peace, light, and love. Somewhere over the rainbow, perhaps, like the song says. Be the magic you are. And as I close this, it's funny, a lot of things I wanted to talk about didn't come out. It just flows. But we're co-creating the future. And it's not happening to us. It's happening through us. Through me to you, through you to me. And I thank you. I thank each and every one of you for being here on this beautiful planet Earth at this time. And we will collaborate together. Even if only for a few minutes, a half an hour a week, doesn't matter. We are collaborating right now. I'm speaking, you're listening. One day you'll be speaking and I'll be listening. And in that process, each one of us will resonate from our hearts to create this greater field of heart resonance. Which doesn't defy anything. It embraces everything. So that's my talk, my lecture, my preaching. All of that rolled in one little package that was from my heart to yours. And I love you and I bless you, each one of you, and ask you to show up as who you truly are. Risk the betrayal. Risk the pain, because it's not long lasting. We are far more powerful than the pain, and we are far more powerful than the disturbance in the field. And as we step into that, we begin to learn that. And it is not an ego thing. It's a heart thing. And the beautiful sound of those bowls. I wish you a great week in finding yourself within your heart. On just sitting in the silence of that moment and knowing this is who you truly are, and asking yourself, how can I bring that forward? I know it's a big task. I'm going through it. I don't know how I'm going to bring it forward. Sitting here talking to you is my bringing it forward. And there's fear, there's judgment, all of those things come through me. We can do this. This is what we're here for. Have a great week. It's a joy to be here with each of you around the world, wherever you are, whoever you are. We are one. One humanity healing. Those words, so simple, yet so powerful. Until next week, I love you and I bless you and I thank you, and shine on, my brilliant stars.